Oh yeah, sexy biscuits. Nice.
Long boys blues, 1975. Using girls on the rise. Reviewing games late at night and sometimes friends. But Long boys blues, 1975.
Welcome to another ZX Spectrum versus Commodore 64 video comparison video. Yep, that kind of got away from me. Or as I like to call it, Playground Wars. In this video we'll be looking at this game here, Roadrunner, released by US Gold in 1988 on both said systems, based on the arcade machine of the same name released in 1985 by Atari, which is based on the Looney Tunes cartoon of the same name that started running in 1951, where Wile E. Coyote on the left is in a constant state of hunger and endlessly pursuing the Roadrunner on the right. I did not like this cartoon as a kid. I always could see the flaw in it. It was just frustrating and unfair. I know I shouldn't have thought that when I was 8 years old, but I did. And then it even drove me more nuts when Wile E. Coyote would spend all his money on gadgets at the Acme store that wouldn't work. I mean, why didn't he just go and buy KFC? Why didn't he just go to a poultry shop and buy a dead Roadrunner, which is a real bird? And then you had Roadrunner. This is turning into a rant about Roadrunner when I was a kid, I know. I'll shut up in a minute. Then you had Roadrunner who could defy the laws of time, space, and physics. I mean, Wile E. Coyote would paint a tunnel, you know, on the edge of a side of rock and paint a road up to it, and then Roadrunner would just go straight through it, bending reality. Wile E. Coyote would try it, and he couldn't. Anyway, it was a staple morning of Saturday's cartoons for us, and even though it frustrated me, much like this game, I still watched it. I don't know why. Glutton for punishment. Anyway, it's also released on the NES, the Atari ST, the Amstrad, and there's Atari 2600, which I believe is the last Atari 2600 game made. Not sure, that's why I'm raising my voice like that. Let's go to space. So here we go. Right, screen is cropped. It's 48K only, but it does a decent rendition of, you know, some of the Looney Tunes music, and it will change once we come back to the title screen, having failed as we really will. You're probably thinking, why are you playing this game then, Dave? I don't know why. Ever since I saw the adverts for it back in the magazines back in the day, I just became fascinated with it because, you know, just the concept of the arcade and stuff like that, and based on the character that frustrated me as a kid. Weird. I don't know why these things interest me when I was a child. I was a child. Right, don't define keys because you can, and you don't need to because it's Q up, A down, O left, P right, and that's it. No fire. So here we go. Good rendition of the tune there. Goes on a little bit too long, but yeah, that is a nice title screen. And obviously all your score information and junk is at the bottom. Level 1. It's a multi-loader. Right. Your seed meter is at the top of the screen. Basically, we're burning a shitload of calories. Obviously Wile E. Coyote is permanently behind me. You can do that. I was coming back for the seed. Because you can avoid him, and he will get hit by trucks and obstacles, which is a nice touch. Because you would hope so, because of how it worked in the cartoon. 48K sound, it makes a little beepy noise every time I get a seed. You've got to be pretty damn precise with the controls. Now, I don't know if it's a case of... See? Roadrunner needs prescription glasses, I feel. Don't know if it's a question of you burn your calories and when the seed meter runs out, or if you miss a certain number of seeds then you can't carry on. But it's... You see, I missed a seed. Go on. I missed loads of seeds at that point. I'm spreading my seed more than I'm collecting my seed. Awkward. But you've got to be so damn precise. Now, it's attribute class-tastic. You know, attribute class-tastic. But the thing is, I like the graphics. It's really fast. It's really smooth. The scrolling, I should say, that is. Look, there he is. He's on his roller skate. It's a tad unfair with how accurate you have to be while collecting your seed. I know I missed a seed, but when you die, oh no, you do at least to some degree start where you died. I don't know how many levels there are, but it is a pretty accurate rendition. See what I mean about you carrying on? Of the arcade. Alright, you know, I like the fact it's got lots of colour, but the clash here is terrible. But I certainly would have taken this over some sort of monochromic version of the game, which, you know, they so often did. I mean, you had more detail, but I think because of, you know, the nature of the cartoon it's based on, Looney Tunes, we want colour. This is finicky as hell. He just gets stuck on everything. I'm amazed he's still alive. He certainly does not have the attributes and abilities, space-bending powers that he had in the cartoon. It's intense as well. But yeah, all in all, oh, that's because it's a tap file. I cheated. All in all, I think it's got, you know, it really does a decent representation of the arcade. And as I said, I don't know why I have a soft spot for it. So much so because of, you know, not really enjoying the cartoon, but then I kept going back and watching the cartoon. Right. I know I missed a seed, but look how quickly it's going down. Play a drinking game based on the number of times I say seed. Level 2. Oh, see? It cheated. Well, it cheated. It benefited me and started me at the bottom. I'm assuming it's making that noise because he's on some sort of gadget. Again, just spend your money on lunch, man. Now, here is a bit where it does. Presuming I get this far on the Commodore, I won't though, because I just played it just now as a practice and did alright. Your paths are quite open. Oh, shake harder, boy. Gotta stop saying that line. Oh, there you go. See, it's quite finicky on the controls. You do sort of get used to it and grind it, but you know, it's alright. There you go. Is it Flight of the Bumblebee? That's epic. Yeah, you do get used to it. You start to build up a feel for it. But I like the graphics. Yeah, it's got a lot of attribute clash, but I do like the fact that it's got a lot of colour. An effort was made on this to make it look like the arcade, as you know, an effort was made on the sound, even though it's 48K. Anyway, let's have a look at the Commodore 64 version. So here we go with Roadrunner on the Commodore 64. Rather kind of boring title screen, I will say that, although you could argue I guess you're just going to play it on joystick, so you don't need all the options you had on the Spectrum. But the lack, oh, listen to this. Very nice rendition of the Looney Tunes too. Very nice. I think it's safe to say we knew the Commodore was going to win in this department. But yeah, I kind of like, you know, the screen being cropped more on the Spectrum. I did kind of like you at least having, you know, pictures of Coyote on the left and the Roadrunner on the right. That's just a bit boring, but that's a small point to, you know, pick airs over or whatever. So let's get into it. It does jump straight into the game, and look at that. It looks lovely. Very bright, very colourful. Sound effects and music. You speed onwards at the top. It looks really, really nice. It looks really good and close to the arcade. The animation on Wile E. Coyote, ooh, is really, really nice. He's also got a certain sense of, it's easy to run around him because there's a, like, running on, I don't know, glass, snow, something, Mr. Sheen about him. But he's got the same problem as the Spectrum, which I guess is the same problem as the arcade, where, oh, shies and balls. He took the bastard with me though, didn't I? You're running too far ahead or too close to the front of the screen, obviously to keep away from Wile E. Coyote. You know, you go away. Now you're going to eat roadkill, dude. That's just gross. But it does basically mean, such as that shit finds your face rather too quickly, which does get frustrating quite quickly. The controls also feel quite finicky, like they do on the Spectrum, but they're going to enter a whole new meaning in a minute. Well, I've not done this well in this game in ages. Oh! It seems that the Coyote doesn't, oh, there we go, doesn't, that seemed a lot quicker, or shorter I should say, than the Spectrum version. Yeah, he doesn't seem to keep such a pace though. I always feel like he's right breathing down your neck as much as he does in the Spectrum. That is really, really nice music. But yeah, level 2, in case you didn't realise what comes after level 1. Right, this is where you'll see some things in the favour of the Spectrum. Right, see, he's got on the rocket, so now it's a question of, I'll go up here, he's going to come down here next. Knowing where he's constantly going from left to right. Ooh! So that's what that divot is for. That's brutal and unfair, but to be honest, it's like that on the Spectrum, it's like that in the arcade. It's made... I can't get that. It's made to nick your 10p's, kids. That's what the tracks are when you go up there. Now, the tracks are... This is going to ask for trouble. I keep forgetting I've got to get seed. Tracks are just too thin compared to the Spectrum, and it makes... Fuck! I thought he was going to be lower down than that. It makes really getting through them. Oh, run, Dave, difficult. It's like running through quicksand. Doink. Look at it, run, Forrest, and words to that effect in quotes from movies that involve me running, not standing still. Yoink. See, I'm stuck. Oh! Where's he going next? Run. Fuck nuggets. It's a memorization thing as well. But traversing, or traversing I should say, those bits there are, as much as it looks sticky on the, that's the worst descriptive term ever, on the Spectrum, it's so much more difficult than that. Like, I guess it's a resolution thing, and it being, you know, a different resolution on the Spectrum makes running through the paths ever so slightly easier, but yeah, there's no denying this is quite the looker. Picking up the seed is just as finicky. I'm just making it look easier. No, I twitched then. Just making it look a little easier for some reason. See what I mean about him running on... Oh, glass? No, because he's just come back. He's reapered me. Like, again, as it said, you missed a seed. Well, it's not said that in this version, has it? To be fair. But how am I supposed to pick up a seed when it's behind me and I'm being chased by... this ass. So I think it's safe to say, right, the Commodore looks better, it sounds better, it's more accurate to the arcade, but essentially, and this is why this is an interesting comparison to do, they play pretty much exactly the same. Commodore's a little bit more forgiving in the sense that, I'm saying that, but look at this guy, until then, he's not so quite breathing down my throat. But at the same time, Spectrum has the advantage that some of these paths just aren't as tight as they are here. So do you know what? Yeah, I guess it's a question of what do you want to play? Do you want to play one that looks bells and whistles, or what can you play when it comes to your systems? Because I think ultimately they're just as good as each other. This one just looks and sounds a little bit better, but at the end of the day, graphics don't necessarily make a game alone, do they? Anyway, as always, I would love to know what you think, especially if you had this back in the day on any of the versions, particularly the NES version. I would love to know what that looks like. I could just Google it, but what can I say? I'm a lazy bastard. Whoa! Yoink! And yeah, I have to say again, the Atari 2600 version is really pretty good as well. But also, especially if you played, no, we don't. Yoink! Hey, he blew up, just like the show. This is as far as like, this is what I mean about it being too cramped. This is, yeah. See what I mean? That's where the Spectrum gives you a little bit of favour. But yeah, also, sorry, I should shut up. I'm ending the video. Yeah, I really would like to know if you got to play in the arcade, what you think. Anyway, as always, I would love to know what you think. And thank you very much for watching. Jeez. And I'll see you later.